We're actually going to be hosting a comedy show on April 17th in Darnell, along with Hammer and some other individuals. We're going to be headlining that. And it's something we do every year. It's something that gets a good response from the community. And we really believe that in church is not just about having church, but the church has to make an impact and a difference in the community and in the lives of people. Because what's the point for people to come and to leave feeling good, but never to change? And if they don't change, then they're never able to impact the change into those that they come in contact with.
How does it feel for you as a pastor, coming up through the ranks and how you got into the ministry? We understand that you were an evangelist for a period of time and then recently taken on the pastorship. How does it feel for you as a pastor of a church that is in a generation where the time is just changing, just in leaps and bounds in front of you? How does it feel for you as one of those ones who's being used by God when you put the message out in a way where souls are coming to Christ? How does it make you feel, and how are you finding yourself adapting to the way the Lord is moving? And
well, two-part question, and I'll deal with it as such. The first part being, it's extremely exciting. We're on the cusp of a breakthrough. Young people of all walks of life, of all ethnicities, are coming to the church in greater numbers than ever before. And so it's extremely exciting. The struggle becomes learning how to bridge the old with the new, understanding how to embrace the youth and what the youth want, while at the same time not totally negating the foundation and the things that have brought you here. And what it really boils down to is understanding the difference between tradition and traditionalism. Tradition is okay because tradition is simply the living voice of the past that you incorporate into your life, but traditionalism is the dead voice of the past controlling what you do today. And many times we get caught up in traditionalism and ritualism, and biblically, that's what Israel did. And they lost the meaning behind what they did. So we have to be able to change and embrace the old and the new, bridge them together. Times change. I'm a huge fan of sports. And for example, in the NFL, when the players and the size of the players and the abilities of the players changed, coaches had to develop new schemes and new ways of playing, a la the West Coast offense. You didn't hear about the West Coast offense 30 years ago because players are not designed for that. Players now are more designed for that. In basketball, the strategy was a strong point guard and a big man until Phil Jackson came along with the triangle and things changed. So, again, as God changes things within the body of Christ and new ministries raise up, 30 years ago, I've been able to heretic for allowing comedians to come and to perform, quote unquote, in the church. But now it is a very viable ministry. We have gospel rap, we have praise dance, we have step teams and drill teams, all these things, because the bottom line is what will reach one may not reach another. But we have a job to reach everybody.
What obstacles have you faced in being someone who is open to the leading and the moving of God? What obstacles have you faced? And how have you handled those obstacles and being able to get the message, and I use the word, quote, cater to the audience that your ministry and you as a pastor are trying to reach?
The biggest obstacle is people's resistance to change. That is something that you cannot overlook, that is something you cannot sidestep, and that is something that is just instinctive to man in every realm, in every walk of life. There was a very famous secular business book entitled Who Moved My Cheese that dealt with change, change in the workplace, change in life, and how resistant and hesitant we are to change. Is one of the reasons why people stay in abusive and addictive relationships, because they're so used to it that the thought of change, even change that was better than them, they become hesitant to. So one of the biggest obstacles has been learning how to overcome people's natural proclivity to not want to change. The result is that some people are resistant, some people are hesitant, but I just have to know that if I'm doing what God has called me to do, And if I'm doing it the way that God has told me to do it, that along with Him equipping me for the job, He will give me His Spirit that will enable me and give me the ability to do the job.
That's just wonderful and great to hear from such strong words of the man of God. Just for my listening audience, they may have relatives or family here and looking for a church to visit if they're visiting the area. Why don't you give us a little bit, some info about your church? Any information like a website, if you have one for your ministry, and where they can visit you at, whether here in the Philly area.
Our church is Word Tabernacle Baptist Church. We're located on the corner of 52nd Street and Chester Avenues in Southwest Philadelphia. The zip code is 19143. We do have a website, which is wordtabernacle.net. We have 2 Sunday services at 7:45 a.m., our morning glory, and at 10:30 a.m. is our high worship. And we have Bible study on Tuesday evenings at 7:30. Awesome time. We are a very, what I like to say, the perfect blend of traditional and contemporary. It definitely is a come as you are church, a very community-oriented church. Many of our members, this is their first adult experience with church. They may have grown up in the church, went to church with grandma, went to church with mom and dad, but as an adult in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, now that God has delivered them from many different things in their life, this is their first true attempt as an adult to walk with Christ. So very exciting. People from all walks of life. We are a multiracial church. And God has just truly blessed us. So if anybody's in the listening area and you want to come by and get a good word and have a good time, we invite you to come down to the tab. God bless you.
God bless you, man. Pastor, we thank you so much for your time with us tonight again. We thank you for hosting us here tonight for the comedy show. This is Deacon Ashanti and DJ Ashanti for the Evening Drive Time Music Mix and the Saturday edition of the AM Rush Hour. We also would like to thank Life Chronicles with Big Husky for their collaboration with us in these interviews tonight. We also like to thank Big Ben for driving us tonight. He's kind of shy, so we're not going to mess with him tonight. But we thank him for driving for us tonight, and we appreciate you listening to us on 720 AM The Rock. Did you, Darnell? No, we want to give it back. We're going to throw the mic back over to Big Husky real quick. I believe he has some closing words and a closing thought or so.
I think the best thing to ever say, I always tell when people want to get Christ, and I always ask them this: which one do you want? And they go, huh? I always say, which one do you want? Do you want to be the noun Christian or the verb Christian? And they go, what do you mean? You just want to be a Christian just so you can say you're saved? Or do you feel like putting it in action? They always say, I want to put it into action, so I tell them this. In order to be a verb Christian, first you got to get the word in. Secondly, there's some things you have to step away from. But most importantly, you got to love yourself. How do you love yourself? Read more of that word. The more you read the word, the more power you put into yourself. The more you love yourself, because that word is going to tell you how to treat you. Ultimately, and how you treat you is how you're going to treat Mike, how you're going to treat Ben, how you're going to treat your enemy. And also still tell them to beware. When everybody is slapping them on the back and telling them they're doing good, look for the night. If everybody is patting you on your back, not patting you on your back to tell you that you're doing good. Somebody is looking to betray you. Stand with that. And how you deal with it depends on how much power you got, how much authority you got, and how much you believe in God. I'm Big Husky. That's all I got to say. He's right here in Philly.
Yes, we is.
Finest comedy show ever.
Yes, it was. Thank you, Big Husky, for those closing thoughts.
Yes, sir.
Again, we thank Life Chronicles with Big Husky in collaboration with the Evening Drive Time Music Mix and the Saturday edition of the AM Rush Hour for this interview.
And you can catch it on YouTube. Go search Big Husky. BIGHUSKY.
And you can check us out also on 720 AM The Rock at 720therock.com. This is Ashanti for the Saturday edition of the AM Rush Hour and the Evening Drive Time Music Mix. God bless you. We thank Ruby Tuesday tonight for the backdrop of our interview. God bless you. Peace.
All right, y'all.